Hey guys, what is going on? Lego Man 123 are back from another video, and today I'll be doing part 2 of my Lego news. I'll be actually doing a part 3 this week because we've just gotten so much news recently. I don't want to have it in one big video because it'll probably be like maybe 50 minutes long, or maybe 30 minutes. So I thought to save my time and also your time in watching my videos, I thought I would split it in different chunks. So today in this episode of LEGO News, I'll be sharing all the summer 2020 sets. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the first summer 2020 sets I'll be sharing is LEGO Ninjago Masters Osby Jitsu Season 13, and this is set 70685 all the way up to 71722, and by the titles of the name, this seems to be maybe a board game sort of type, because like Skull, Sorcerer, Dungeon, like almost Dungeon and Dragons, because you do have Woo's Battle Dragon, but that might be a Season 5 set for Legacy, I'm not quite sure. And then Spinjitzu Surge Cole, that might sound like something from Season 3, but I'm not quite sure, but that does sound pretty interesting. And then Destiny's Bounty, maybe from Season 2. And then Kai Fighter, it might be from Season 3. And then Lightning Jet Battle, and this is a 4+ set. For a 4+ set, that does sound pretty cool. And then Zane's Rhino Creature, that also sounds pretty cool. It kind of reminds me of that Black Panther set we got when the movie did come out. It might look like that rhino or completely different, maybe like an ice rhino. Now just thinking about it, it does seem pretty cool. And then Firestone Mac, that does sound pretty interesting. A lot of these sets do sound really cool. Next we do have the Lego Hidden Side sets for summer 2020. So we have set 70433 all the way up to 70437. Now, these Hidden Side sets, this might be its final wave, because I think we've already had 3 waves. Because, in my opinion, I think Hidden Side is slowly dying, but hopefully this wave doesn't quickly, like, just burn out and not many people will buy it. So the JB's Submarine does sound pretty interesting. I would like to see how they're going to incorporate a play feature in a submarine. And then the Supernatural Race Car. Now, I believe not too long ago we got a promotional Hidden Side set, which was a race car. So it is quite strange how we're already getting a race car again. And then Newberry Abandoned Prison. That does sound pretty cool. I would really like to see maybe a cool feature in that, like a haunted prisoner or something. And then Ghost Fire Truck does sound pretty engaging. Oh, I forgot the 3000. It does sound pretty engaging because I do have a few fire trucks, but I did destroy them. But I have seen a few Lego City fire trucks, so I think that'd be pretty cool to see a ghost version of a fire truck. And then Castle of Mystery for $100. That does sound pretty cool, because kind of looks like they're gonna get a lot of inspiration of the Scooby-Doo castle, because when they did that wave of Scooby-Doo there was a castle, so I can kind of see a bit of inspiration going into the Hidden Side Castle of Mystery. Moving on. Next we have the Lego Marvel Avengers Summer 2020 sets. First we have the classic Hulkbuster, which might be a more better version of the Hulkbuster which we got in Avengers Ultron, or it might be a comic book version of it, but I'm not sure if we got introduced to the Hulkbuster in the comics. We might have. Please correct me if I am wrong. Then we do have a classic Iron Man bust. Now I do believe this is going to be very similar to the Darth Vader one we got, where we got a brick built version of his mask and then a tiny section of his torso. So a classic Iron Man, that sounds pretty cool, because I believe this might be his comic book version. And then we do have a classic Avengers Tower. This also might be a comic book version of the Avengers Tower, just because it has the word classic in it, but it might be just a recreation of these three things from just parts of the Marvel Universe. Next, we do have Lego City Summer 2020 sets. The first one is Air Race. Now, it does sound okay, but I do believe the main theme for 2020 for Lego City is like airport related and then also ocean related. Then we have the Central Airport. Now, I'm hopefully going to maybe pick this up. It really does depend on how it does look, because sometimes the airports do look pretty disappointing, but I do have high hopes for this one because in my city I don't actually have an airport at all, and I would really like to have one. And then the Ocean Exploration Mini Submarine does sound pretty cool, but for $10 it kind of maybe feels like a polybag sort of builder. It only has like a limited pieces. And then the Ocean Exploration Submarine for $30 sounds pretty cool. And then the Ocean Exploration Base also sounds pretty cool. And then finally the Ocean Exploration Ship for 130. Yeah, that is a lot. So with the ocean sort of exploration thing, it kind of reminds me of a Lego City sub-theme they brought out a couple of years ago because of these names like ship. They did have a exploration ship back then, and then the base, they kind of had a base with that sub-theme, and then they also had a submarine build, but not a mini submarine, so I'm quite interested in that. Next, we do have Lego Harry Potter Summer 2020. We're going to get a second advent calendar, which I'm really glad to have. Hopefully it's going to be based off maybe Christmas 3 and 4, but I don't think we had a Christmas in 3 and 4, but mistake me if I am wrong. Hopefully they're not going to do a advent calendar for Harry Potter for movies 1 and 2, because we already have that. So I'm really interested to see what this second advent calendar will be. And then we're also going to get a second CMF series, which is great because they did miss out on a lot of minifigs, including the original Professor Flitwick. I hope we do get a version of him because I think he's a great character and they're going to use some great pieces. Then we're also going to get a Forbidden Forest set for $30. Now I'm quite curious to see what this Forbidden Forest set will be. Will it be when Harry, Ron, Hermione, Hagrid and Draco are on detention when they did something wrong? Is it going to be like the final battle? Well, not the final battle, but when Harry sacrifices himself, when Voldemort kills him. There's just a lot of potential for the Forbidden Forest. Now, a Privet Drive. Now, this does sound really, really cool because I believe we've only got one version of Privet Drive, and that was, I believe, in 2004. So I'm really interested to have that set for $70, so hopefully it is good. And then the Astronomy Tower. Now, I believe this is going to be from movie 60 Half-Blood Prince, but by the names of the characters, it may not be because there is no Dumbledore. Next, we do have some more Lego Harry Potter sets. The Room of Requirement, which I think is from movie 5, Order of the Phoenix, when Harry's training his own army. So that will be pretty cool to get some really cool variants of minifigs. Maybe we'll get more variants of Dean, Fred and George. So there's a lot of potential with that. And then a buildable Hedwig. That sounds really, really cool because there'll be a lot of different techniques and pieces to build Hedwig because he or she is a pretty cool creature in the Harry Potter universe, and she is or he is a owl. And then we do have the Forbidden Forest, Privet Drive, Astronomy Tower, and the other two things there. Next, we do have some Jurassic World sets. Now, I'm not too interested in it, but I thought I would cover it for those who are. We have Dr. Wu's Laboratory for $20. Now, that does sound pretty interesting for a laboratory. It might have some dinosaurs in there, like the small ones, and also maybe some different lab equipment. And then I'm really going to struggle saying these names. The Glayumirus and the Fluoritidon. Probably failed at those names, but it was a good attempt. Hunt. Now that does sound pretty interesting just because of the dinosaur names. We might get 2 or 3 minifigs for $60, or maybe like an enclosure for them, like where they've escaped. And then the house, oh, I gotta say another hard name. The House of the Glyushries. Don't think I said that right, but it was a good attempt for $100. Now this is kind of reminded me of that set we got for Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. It was like this mansion sort of house. So it's reminded me of that for $100. I really hope it isn't like that, because it reminded me of a facade, because it wasn't completely done like a Lego Creator set. So hopefully it's not like that. And then we do have land and water hunting. That sounds pretty cool because it's on land and water. It might be like a crocodile because they can go on land and water. Or it might be like a dinosaur. What can do that, go on land and water? And it's only for $30. So I'm expecting some, but not too much, because it's only for $30. Next we do have Minions: The Rise of Gru. Later on there will be some set images for this. The first two are 4+ sets. We do have the playground for $20 and the plane. Now I'm not expecting too much for the playground, because when we did get the Toy Story 4 sets, there was a playground and there was only like a slide and then like a small part of that. So with this, I'm kind of expecting a little better because it's the Minions. And then for the plane, I'm kind of thinking a small sort of plane. I'm just trying to remember the images in my head. So it's a bit of a small plane, but it does look pretty cool. And also maybe like an airport, sort of very, very small build. And then the motorcycle. Now, when I looked at the image, this does look pretty cool. It's not your ordinary motorbike, which you will see soon, but I don't want to spoil it. And then the temple does sound pretty interesting, but for $40, and especially for Minions, it doesn't sound too interesting. And then the robot Minions, I believe these are like the big Minion sort of builds where you can like open it up. I'm really not interested in those, and especially for $50. Now, the way they've built them and the design of them are great, but the feature you open them up and like the Minions are controlling them is kind of disappointing, but it will make a great display piece. Next, we do have this new theme coming out, and when I saw this, I was really interested in it, and this is the Lego Monkey Kid. There is no sets just yet being confirmed, but it's going to be in between sets 71360 and then 71375, and this will release August 2020. And then the price range is actually pretty cool. $5 to $100, and that is a round, so it hasn't actually been confirmed. I'm just trying to think what could be for $5. Maybe like a small poly bag, maybe, or maybe like a series minifigs for the Monkey Kid, which would be pretty cool. And then these sets seem to be based on the Journey to the West story. Now I'm not quite sure what that is, and I don't want to like offend anyone by trying to guess, so I'm just gonna skip that. Next, we do have some more LEGO Marvel 2020 sets. The first one is a 4+ set, and this is the Wrath of Loki. Now, for $60, and it's a 4+ set, I'm kind of thinking a lot of minifigs because it's a 4+ set, and then maybe a small build of the Avengers Tower, because I'm kind of thinking this is from the original Avengers movie, but it may not be. And then we do have the Helicarrier for $120. Now, that is a lot, but I'm kind of thinking it's like a sort of medium version of the Helicarrier. Now, I hope it's not micro scale, because I really don't enjoy micro scale builds, especially from movies, but they are really cool nonetheless. So I kind of get where they're coming from for $120 if it is a normal size build, not micro scale, because they can have a lot of great minifigs and the vehicles will be great. And then the Hulk Buster, the Iron Man bust and the Avengers Tower, which I did go over a few minutes ago. Next, we have some more Marvel sets, and these, I'm going to struggle saying this, the Internals. The Internals. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. Now, it kind of sounds like this is going to be a new series coming out, maybe on Disney Plus or a cartoon show, not really sure, but we do have the first set for $10, and then the next set $20, and then $60, and then $100. So just by looking at the prices, they'll probably, each of the sets will have more and more minifigs, and then a build. So this does sound pretty interesting, because I've actually never heard of this in the Marvel universe, but I might be completely wrong. We might have heard of this before. Next, we have some Lego DC sets. The first one is a Wonder Woman vs. Cheetah. Now, I believe this is going to be for the Wonder Woman movie coming out, but I might be mistaken. But it does sound pretty interesting because especially of Cheetah. We don't have too many minifigs of her anymore. Then we have the Batman Penguin Pursuit, which is a 4+ set. It's only $10, which is a pretty good price to get Batman and Penguin, and maybe a few Penguin sort of robots. Then we do have the Batman Joker's Trike Chase. And that does sound pretty interesting because it is a Joker set. Now I hope the Trike is actually like a Trike, and I also hope it's like a bit Joker sort of tied with like wacky stuff with it. That would be pretty cool. And then I hope Batman does have maybe a small Batmobile, but then that may be a little too much fully set. So maybe Batman will have some sort of Batmobile or Bat car, and then the final one is the Batman Mobile Bat base. Now that does sound pretty interesting, especially for $90. Now I'm not quite familiar with the bat bases, but the previous one we got was quite disappointing. But this one does sound pretty interesting because it is the mobile bat base. So I hope there's like a villain attack, because a lot of the bat bases there are villain attacks. So I hope it's not like a Clayface, like Two-Face, or even a Penguin or Poison Ivy one, because we've got a lot of them in the past. So I hope it's like a villain, maybe like the Riddler or like the Joker. That would be pretty cool. Next, we do have some Lego Star Wars news. We do have another advent calendar. Now, I'm hoping this is going to be based off the Rise of Skywalker, because we can maybe get the Knights of Ren in a cheaper version, even like a Christmas version of the Knight of Ren. We can get like a Palpatine. Maybe some of the Jedi's what talked to Rey, but I don't think they'll include that. And then we do have a Bark Speeder. Now, I'm not quite sure what a Bark Speeder is, but just by the sounds of it, it does sound pretty interesting. And then we do have Anakin's Jet Interceptor. That is also pretty interesting. I believe we've already gotten a Anakin's Jedi Interceptor a few years ago, so it's always great to get updated versions of sets we've gotten in the past. And then a AAT for $40. Now that does sound pretty cheap, but I'm kind of thinking what the AAT is. I'm just trying to remember what it is. But for $40, that sounds kind of good, but then it may not be, because the build might be quite disappointing. And then we have the Night Buzzard. Now, I'm not quite sure what that is, but the name does sound pretty cool. And for $70, I think it's a little overpriced, but I can't really say because I haven't seen any of the images. And then we do have General Grievous Starfighter. Now, this does sound pretty cool because we're getting an updated version of General Grievous, and then also an updated version of his Starfighter. And then we have the AT-AT for $160. Now that does sound quite a lot, but I do believe these are the massive walker things, but I might be mistaken. It might be something else. I will have to see the images to refresh my mind. Now, I'm quite disappointed we're not seeing any sets for the Clone Wars Season 7, but we might see some after the Season 7 is over. So if you guys did enjoy this news video as much as I did making it, because I really do enjoy sharing my thoughts and opinion on new LEGO themes or LEGO sets what are coming out. So definitely stay tuned for part 3. Hopefully I'll be making it this weekend because there's just been so much LEGO news. I don't want to have like this massive video of all the news. I like to put it in chunks. That way it makes it more easier for me and also you. So if you guys did enjoy this video, as I did say, and I can say so, goodbye.